What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency on this lovely Friday. Welcome. Jumping right into it. Um, crime scene photos were released, and we're going to be very specific when we say crime scene photos. Ryan Schneider, Moscow Police Department officer, he wrote a supplemental report, and it was report number 4, and it was dated on 11/13/2022. And in his supplemental report, he had booked into evidence and burned photos to a CD and booked it into evidence that way. So these were photos that were burned to a CD and booked into evidence. And there were 182 photos. Okay. So you know how the news just likes to say, oh, we received over 200 photos. Well, I would love to know what other 18 plus photos y'all received, because there were 182 in Ryan Snyder's photo upload on November 13th. And these would not be done from the crime scene investigators from Idaho State Police. These were from his presumably cell phone that he had, or a picture or a camera that he had. Now, first thing I want to point out here is I'm choosing to use this photo for a reason, and it's to point out right here the cups. Okay. Have y'all ever played beer pong before? Okay. Have y'all ever played beer pong before? First thing I want to point out is that the cups here, see how close they are to the edge? That's how you're supposed to play beer pong. Okay. You see the location of the beer pong table. All of those cups are in a tight triangle. Okay. That is how you're supposed to play beer pong. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It should be 10 because it's 4. I mean, you could play. We always either play like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like you're building like a Christmas tree type style. Okay. If you were to bump into that table, what would happen is that those cups would, because there's either nothing in them yet, and there shouldn't be anything in them because, but at the very least, if there was anything in them, it is a sip of beer. So you like pour like a little bit of beer in each one of those cups, and then you're throwing back and forth. So if you bump into that table, like those cups aren't going to be looking like that. They're so lightweight. Okay. And that's what you're seeing here at the bottom of your screen is these are, let's see, I'm going to, these cups right here, you see? Yeah. Right there on the opposite, so you could see it. You see where the cups are? Then there's like an object that's laying right kind of next to the cups. And that is the knife, I believe, that Hunter Johnson had. And they said that was a knife on the beer pong table. Now, I want to point out that you guys see how lit up. Remember how I said like that, whatever they want to call it. They are calling it a, I don't know. That's like a, we'll just say a display, but it looks like it should be like a, for your drinks. If you had like a home bar or something like that, that's all twisted with the lights. So not only did they have the good vibe lights, but they also had this lit up. So there's a lot of light. All right. There you go. We'll call it a bar cart. There you go. Take that word, take it to the bank. There you go. Anyways. So now do you see that it's really tight in between the table and the where you would actually play the banister there kind of. It's a very tight area. I guarantee you when they would be playing, that is going to be pushed out. There is no way that you would ever play this game and have it that tight. Okay? So just pointing that out. Again, we're just pointing out. Now, this is Xana's room down here. That door it's open right now, but when it was closed partially, you then wouldn't be able to see it, and that's just a pool of blood. Okay? That's what that is. These rooms are so small. Now, we have to ask ourselves, why in the world would Moscow Police Department only issue these photos to the Idaho news outlets? Well, Lana, why don't you tell everybody why? Well, I believe that that's how they keep their partnerships, and that's how they keep this good relationship, and that, hey, you're going to bump out our narrative. Otherwise, you ain't getting our shit, and we're going to be giving it out to everybody at the same time. They're giving special treatment. So, what it was said to me is that if you were an Idaho resident, your request would be handled in 3 business days. If you were not an Idaho resident, your request could take up to 28 to 38 days. Not that there would be money involved. It was just your request, 3 days if you're an Idaho resident, 28 days if you are not an Idaho resident. That is from MPD. And I just simply said, why? Why? These are real photos. They are from the supplemental report 4. Ryan Snyder took photos. We've talked a lot about this supplemental. Ryan Snyder took the photos, and he said that he uploaded 182 photos. And they're from either his cell phone or, whatever he had with him, I guess. But there would also be metadata associated with this. Also, if you did use your cell phone could then be part of evidence then, because we need the metadata behind all the photos to see what time they were taken, the pinpoint GPS, if that's how your phone, all the settings for it. So anyways, moving on. The same news broadcasts that the Gonsalves family went on air with and saying, hey, we don't want these crime scene photos out. Well, they're the people. I can prove my request to Moscow Police Department, and in my requests to Moscow Police Department, up and until last night, I had never requested, in none of my requests did I ever say that I wanted crime scene photos. Never, ever, and I can prove that. However, it's interesting to me that the people that were actually interviewing the families and pushing out their message, they were the ones that actually went and requested days ago the crime scene photos. The same people that had the families on their channels or their broadcast, whatever you want to call it, and saying, we don't want this out. I mean, I've said it time and time again. Like, yeah. Okay. Monkey see, monkey do. Nope. I do whatever I want. Talk about using people. All right. Now let's take a look at this. This is what we are looking at here. This is Dylan Mortens's bedroom. And I'm going to zoom in on different parts to tell you guys what I think about it. Right. First thing that I want to point out is that right over here to the right of the butterflies, something is 100% blurred out right there. Maybe they're personal pictures, don't know, but right to the right of the butterfly, that is 100% blurred out. I can tell you that Ann Taylor wanted the pink and red heart blanket right there that you see, the white and pink heart blanket. She wanted that. She wanted. Let me back out just a tab up over here. These are all pictures over here in the corner of like hairdos, hairstyles, like it's above where you're like vanity where you're getting ready. Okay, so all those like, oh, she had a bunch of like thick, dark eyebrows and stuff like that. That's going to be over in this area to the right. That's what that is. Going off of stuff that was in. All right. There's something on the bed that's between the blanket and the comforter. I'm not sure what that is, but there is something there. Next that I want to point out. Okay. All right. As you can see over here, I was looking down at the ground. They have to get way closer to see if there's any like blood droplets leading out or whatever, but nothing really just sticks out to like the naked eye. But I'm telling you guys, like this is not good quality. But what? So here is what they're talking about. These boot prints or whatever. That's right there. It's in Discovery. I'm talking about. To me, it clearly looks just like you'd have to get closer in up to the left to see if there's just a bunch of, people like with those prints right there. I would think that they were not from the night of 1 or 11/12 going into 11/13. But I'd have to get way closer to see like if it's all trampled on around it. Yeah. So, but backing out, remember the garbage that was collected over here to the left? Keep an eye on that. We're going to come back to that. The lights were on. They're plugged in. I was trying to look for Murphy's leash. Let's see. Okay, and as you can see, the crime scene tape is already up and around, so you can kind of get an idea of when they say they put the crime scene tape up to know this was taken after. Okay, and if you look and see, they tied it to the tree trunk over, or whatever that is right behind. It looks like a trunk. I don't know, but they didn't continue the tape. They didn't go to the fence line all the way, so. But you can at least tell that when this picture was taken, it had to have like the tape up. This gives you a really good pitch. This gives you kind of a really good view of like when they want to talk about what the trees were like at the time and how if anybody would have had a clear view. Here is our view. Can you guys see anything like out there? Do you see like we're looking out through the trees there? So there's leaves on these trees. It's not like these trees were bare. Okay, so when the investigators want to talk about, hey, the vantage point from up on Walenta, okay, yeah, what vantage point? What vantage point? These trees are not bare. These trees have leaves. So next up, let's see. So I would disagree with anybody that's going to say that there's just like this ridiculous vantage point that you would have from Walenta to be able to see through there. You can't make that assessment from this. You'd have to be like looking at different lines, like different points, and then. But I disagree. There's a ton of leaves on those trees. Let's see. Next up. Gonna go move to okay. This one. This is what I want to. I'm still debating on where this picture was taken. But here you go. That's blood right there. Those droplets. That's blood. Now, back out. That's what the picture looks like that they took. See how these shadows? Okay. Is that, what door is that in the house, basically? And is that the back of the front door that's in a dark area? But that's very interesting to me. Where what door this is? Is it? Don't know. People that are saying it's Maddie's room, the door wasn't closed into Maddie's room. So I disagree completely with that. Okay. Next. But that's blood. That is blood. Front door opens opposite this one, says Mark. That's if these are not, what if they're inverted? No lock on the door. Well, they had on the other side. I mean, you could ask if it's the laundry room downstairs. This seems like this is a first level shot. So what comes to mind would be the first floor bathroom and the laundry room. Okay, how about we go with like? To me, I'm all in on the fact that this is a door on the first level, not on the second level. Potentially, could it be the bathroom door on the second floor? Okay. But this is in an area where there's not good lighting. Okay, good. But there is blood on that door. There is blood right here. That's blood. Okay, next. All right. This is what I'm going to show you next is this is the floor going into what I believe is Maddie's bedroom. Who was wearing the Docs and the jeans? That's Maddie's white desk. These are how small these rooms are. That's the chair that was over there. That's the bed that would be right up against the wall. Okay. And something that Scott Roeder told us a long time ago was that, hey, when you have stabbings in a bedroom, in a bed, specifically a bed, and somebody's killed in a bed being stabbed, that bed is going to absorb like the cloth, that material. So that's what that is, in my opinion, is that when people are like, well, where's all the blood? Well, that's why Scott Roeder's coming back on the channel this Tuesday at 10 a.m. Scott Roeder breaking down the crime scene, or what we at least have so far. Okay, so if you want to hear from somebody that actually possesses the knowledge from doing this as a profession, that's what I would say. Come and get your, listen. So but see the shadows. up there, even to the right of the door, on the door here, you can see like the dark shadows. But now over here to the left, when you zoom in, this green bag that's underneath there, yeah. At first I thought, could that potentially be like a leash? I don't believe so now. When I was looking at other things, I said no. And then also the covers to me that are like the there's a couple different blankets in here, but the darker brown one, these aren't like, the brown one isn't all down and twisted, but that lighter color one is. And so, yeah. I also noticed that unless you zoom in, see those blood drops right there? That's, in my opinion, from the weapon. You can see. But this is, again, a cell phone quality, and these aren't the crime scene tech pics. They had a no shoe, they did not have a no shoe policy, in my opinion, in that house. So them, and have like them just, they don't take off their shoes when they get in the house or something like that, which you usually don't have in college. You could, yeah, right there. Now, see when you zoom in right here. Interesting. Hang tight. Oh boy. See those two little dabs right there? Now, if you go back and you actually look at, hang tight. Stop sharing that screen. Let me go look at this other one that I have. Okay. Ooh. Okay, hang tight. Right there, those two. Wow. I looks like I could potentially match Maddie's door, which is interesting because these are clearly taken after they would have already went through the first time. Okay. So that means after they would have left the room to clear the scene, they then shut the door. Okay. For some reason. So the answer, you'd have to see these body cams actually, because then the picture actually is, was the door closed or was it opened? And according to Ann Taylor, the body cams show that this door was actually opened. So, and it would make sense because if the killer was to close the door, the handle would be all bloody, right? And so that tells you that the killer didn't close that door. And so I don't know if they closed the door. Actually, I think Gunnarsson said, did he say something about we closed the, I thought they closed the door to Kaylee's room though, to keep the dog from staying there. So anyways, it could also be if Maddie and Kaylee weren't killed first, if the killer goes upstairs and is going to go into that bedroom, it would be because they've already encountered somebody downstairs. And that would go with what Steve Gonsalves has been saying is you didn't have to go upstairs, or why'd you go upstairs? So if like the bedroom door was closed and somebody, but see, then again, I disagree. Then why wouldn't the, there's no blood on the handle. Let me see if we can even see that again. I see. This is why I think it's going to be great to have and to hear from somebody that, because what you start with is it's like a puzzle, and you start eliminating things. You start eliminating what the possibilities could be, but you also need the crime scene from the start and to know if anybody had. Okay, what did you guys touch? Did you guys go upstairs? Did you open up the door? Okay, if all the witnesses are saying, "Listen, we never even went upstairs. We did not go upstairs." Okay. Then you have to say, okay, well, are they telling the truth or are they not? Then you go, okay, hey, who are the first people, the first responders, they had their body cams on. Let's take a look at what the body cams show. And then you would take that into consideration. And then you go ahead and you look at the crime scene photos, and then you compare, and you would build out this. So, you'd build out your picture, your storyboard. All right, so going back to back up here. Okay. All right. So we're going to look at it like this. Okay. The next picture I'm going to show you guys is this photo. Actually, I'm going to go like this way. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Everybody's been asking. Okay, so over here you can see, blow it like this. Okay. This is a very thin wall in between. Over here to the right, you can see there's an officer. And this is the bathroom. So it's right up against a bedroom. I'm going to go like this then too. Hold on. Down here on the left-hand side, we're above where it says like before. Like, is that the rail to going where you would then continue down to the living room? Is this upstairs though? Is this the bathroom? But the bathroom looks pretty well tidied. Like, that tells me that chicks live there. Okay. Dude's bathrooms wouldn't look like that. Also, I noticed that however they're keeping like someone to like brush their teeth and shit like that. You see hand soap there. I don't see people having like their toothbrushes in like little things. If you actually open up your mirror right there, all that stuff should be behind it. Again, I'm playing a guessing game here because nothing's labeled. But right there in the corner, you can see there's an officer right there. And he's clearly looking at something. See over there? And it's in another part of the house, but it's really close to that bathroom. People could say that's upstairs and that's Maddie and Kaylee's bathroom. I don't know what these so you have one person that we know that's going around taking photos, walking all through it, taking photos, right? You have another guy that gets in the picture over there. I think that's Gunderson. And he's doing something really close to something. Okay. I think that they would tell you that, like, what the hell is he doing? You want to get out, don't be in there, and get out, secure the scene, and wait for the crime scene. You know? So. Okay. Let's go back to then. Okay, this one. Okay. So this is the picture that they took. And now I'm confused. Because where's the beer pong table? The beer pong table should be I understand you think it's to the left. How is it to the left when I just showed you guys the last picture that I just showed you guys? But either way, looking at this, there's 3 glasses on the ground. There's a sock. Okay. There's a cup. Hold on, let me zoom in. There's a cup. So there's a sock. There's a open container. There's a pink cup. There's a bag in the middle of the room. Looks like a book bag. There's one sock. Okay, 3 solo cups that look like they could have come from the board, like the game for the beer pong. You have the sectional and pillows. The sectional is kind of separated. Then there's looks like a high noon on the right next to the sectional. You got a couple pillows around, and then you have Bud Light Lime, White Claw case, and yeah. And so where this photo is, the person's taking the photo. It's like they're coming out from the hallway, kind of from coming back from like where Xana's room is. Like this is that angle that you would be coming out of. If you're coming up the stairs from the first level, you could also be taking it from, you could be standing over there, even on the stairs, and potentially taking that photo. So, now, anybody out there that wants to say that they cleaned up, they fucking cleaned up, they fucking cleaned up. Well, fuck, they can't clean for shit then, guys. And then you're going to say, no, Anna, they had to leave something to make it to look like they didn't clean up. Well, how about this? How about you just take that out of your brain for a second? Whether they did, whether they didn't, take it out of your brain. Take it out of your brain. Okay? What this tells me is that there was no struggle in terms of we're not zoomed in. We don't see if there's where this blood is, okay, where any specks of blood is, but there is nothing where anybody is being, attacked, and there's like a altercation that's involving blood loss. Okay, I can't see these in these photos. These are the ones that I'm showing you. Hey, maybe as more start coming through the pipe chain. So what it seems like to me, okay, is Well, when Dylan would open up her door, it's going to be super lit up because she has the light. The lighting is on. And therefore, when Dylan would open up her door, it's going to retract anything that's in her room as far as what her lighting was. Does she have a TV in there? They have like a TV that's over off here to the left. Who uses their TVs though anymore? Everyone's using their phones to watch whatever. So like, who even needs a TV? But this just seems like people had a party on Friday night to me, and on Saturday we woke up and we're starting to tailgate. All right, and do I think that this stuff is from the Friday night people? No, I think that this stuff right here is from whoever was over there on Saturday. Because they clearly have outside the house in the back garbage cans, okay, full with like they attempted to straighten up stuff from Friday. But this stuff right here is the easiest stuff to pick up as far as like the Bud Light lime in the White Claw cardboard boxes. Like that doesn't take a lot to like pick that up. There involves no hey, I have to get my mop out and I'm like, that type of work. So this to me seems like the White Claw in that Bud Light lime, that would be actually from stuff that was consumed on that Saturday night. And Sunday, hey, we're tidying the place up and we're gonna like do our actual like cleaning of it. But somebody was clearly like you would when you have people over, you're picking up stuff as you can, but you're not like doing like your hardcore cleaning. So yeah. And I think Dylan and Bethany could answer those questions. Hey, whose is that? Whose is that? Whose is that? Whose is that? Well, whose are these items? Who owns these items? Did you see that out when you went to bed? I mean, hey, you guys were playing beer pong. Remember? Okay, yeah. Bethany says that it sounded like something that all the cups fell off the beer pong table. Well, my only thought about that is I don't see how they could just fall off the one side and the other side not move at all. If you've ever played on one of those flimsy ass tables and you have the lightest cups, you nudge that table, you move all like both sides cups. I mean, then that's like a way that you would cheat in a game because then you're like, well, you don't have a re-rack until blah blah blah. You only have one re-rack. You want to use your re-rack now? It's like, wait a second, you just bumped into the table on purpose. Like, no, fuck you. Tighten up those cups. That's how people talk in college with playing that game. So, blah. Yeah. Next. Let's go with okay, here's a better angle of our dude. Oopsies. All right, so remember, this is to the left. That's like the wall in between where that bathroom was. And now we're here. He's taking a picture and he's getting what's plugged into the wall. So see, there's like an outlet there and something's plugged into the wall. And that's where that, I believe it looks like Gunderson to me. I don't know why, but clad in black. Let's go back over here. That post, okay, good. People could say they think that's a mirror. I said no, it's not. I don't think it's a mirror. It looked like it at first. No, it looked like it at first. I will say that. And then when you actually look at the other picture next to it, you can see it's a that's a wall. I think it looks like it's coming upstairs. It's either the ledge around where you go upstairs, the third floor, and you're getting to the top of the landing. But what throws me off about all of that is I've never ever heard or seen that there would actually be electrical work there. You know what I mean? So is it like an inverted pic, you know? But that doesn't seem like there would be electrical work there. So I just think to myself, what the fuck are they doing? What are they doing? These guys had no business, I don't think, doing any of this, right? This is how you would contaminate a scene. Like, you would clear the house, okay, rope it all off, start a crime scene log, and that's it. And then you're waiting for your crime scene investigators to come and process the scene. At the end of the day, so let's go back to, okay, here we go. I'm gonna go back to this photo. Damn it. This one. Okay. Okay, do you guys see my struggle with where the person would have been standing when taking the photo of the sectional? And how did you not get the beer pong table in the picture? Everybody see that now? I will show it to you guys again. Like, here's coming from Xana's room. It's right there in the middle, okay? And to be able to take the picture that you're taking from this angle, which is standing over here, to take the picture of the sectional and everything that would be in the middle of that room, how are you not getting, like, if your picture has the floor in it, it has the floor in it. So you would have to be standing literally right on the other side of the beer pong. Think about how beer pong tables are smaller. I get it. Awesome. You'd have to be standing on the other side of this beer pong table. Like, you're standing on the left side, like on the bottom of this picture right here. And that's the way that you'd have taken that. But then, so then when I take this down and I look at this photo, okay. I'm having a hard time squaring this away with my brain. This one right here. See over here to the left? Is that the drinking cart? Is that the table? All on the left there? We're like, you guys, this room is not like what, come on, what's up? No, you're like, no, Lana, that's the railing to go where? Oh yeah, from coming up the stairs, right? To go where? To go down to the what? Is this reverse image? I mean, basically where this person is taking the picture from, you guys, this is where they're taking this picture from, is, you think, coming from the kitchen? I'm trying to, is it invert? I don't know. Where is the beer pong table? Just tell me where the beer pong table would be in this picture. You're from coming up the stairs, right? Where are you at in the house? You're coming up the stairs. Perfect. Bingo. Awesome. That's what I think. You're coming up the stairs. You're right? Or you're standing right next to the beer pong table. You have to be standing where basically the person would be if they were throwing the beer pong to the other side of the table, right? Right? So I just have, my question is right here, this item, whatever this is right here, what do you guys think that is? What's that right there? Okay, the railing where this picture is taken, if I'm standing on the stairs, the railing should be like going, it should be to the right of me. But going back towards Xana's room. Just trust me. Take a look at that picture. Try to size it up with now this. I'm just trying to understand where he's standing. Okay, ready? There you go. You see how the railing is, it does not take you towards the freaking what do you call it? Towards the sectional. Are you guys following now? I'm saying if I'm taking a picture from standing at the top of the stairs, this has no business being in my photo. The railing cannot possibly be in my photo if I am standing where this beer pong table is, taking it towards the sectional. How in the world is that possible? And if you look at the cart of the picture, okay, if you're looking at this puppy right here, you guys see how it's just the metal, it's all wrapped in, what do you call it? The ivy with the lights. Okay. It's see-through. It's not a I don't believe that's that at all. Do you guys ever play Photo Hunt? I think he's standing past the beer pong table. Absolutely. He's standing past the beer pong table more. Exactly. 100%. We got that. So therefore, anything to do with a railing would be behind me, because the railing ends right where basically Xana, or the railing ends right, basically what you see right there. So and it goes towards the bedroom. Okay. It does not go towards the kitchen. It does not go towards Dylan's room. So when you look at then this photo, again, my brain, what is that to the right? That's all. Then it's got to be the cart, right? That's what I would think. It's the cart where like your drinks are supposed to be. It's got to be that cart. This right here. What's that? Do you guys know how small this room is? It's small. It's the railing. People are like, it's the railing. You're 100% wrong, Lana. Okay. That's fine. I could be wrong. All I want, give me the picture from where the TV is, and it solves all problems. So go ahead and they can release that. Anyways, when you slice and dice it at the end of the fucking day, this to me looks like a simple college kid's house, and that they had people over, which they did on Friday and Saturday. End of story. So just so we're clear, there's not a conspiracy. It's just looking at photos, which none of these should have been taken, but hey, they were taken. These officers should have roped it off, waited. Next up, let's talk about the handprints. Let's talk about the handprints. There we go. Very strange. There you go. Handprints. Man, you are not wrong. The curvature at the top of the wood piece of the banister wall should not be there. Yeah, I let people, I don't care, right, wrong. I'm just showing you what my brain's looking at. And something just seems off in that small, tiny living room. But anyways, here we go. Handprints. Pretty big handprints. I think this is in. There we go. I don't know. What do you guys think? It definitely looks like someone's trying to push the window up. Interesting, right? I like that. I think there's definitely force. Small handprints. I don't know. They didn't put they just took the pictures of it. You normally put a little scale up there, put a pen up there. But they aren't processing the scene. He's just going around taking 182 pictures. But I liked the comment where it was, looks like somebody would be pushing up, like to push up the window. Interesting. How about this? Does it have anything to do with the crime scene, right? So again, the only people that could possibly answer this, and you'd have to take them at what they're going to say, is you'd show Bethany and Dylan the photos and say, or ask them the question, which is, has anybody tried to, like, did you guys ever get locked out of your house and you're trying to get in? Or, depends on where all this stuff is. You see someone's face? Interesting. All I see here is a very, like, not, it's no one attempting to do it again. It's just on there, pressed, and then now it's interesting to be able to zoom in, and is there actually prints, or is it just the outline of, like, a glove? It seems like it's very, they're actually prints. The glove I don't think would be dividing off like that, but then again, I'd have to test that. I don't know. How big's this wall? I mean, how big's the window? Somebody's going on both ends, like basically getting to both ends of it. I mean, I would want to know how big that wall or that window is, how big the handprints are, and then again, does this have anything to do with anything? But why would somebody be outside trying to and be pressed up against that? I mean, how long have they been there? The only people that could answer that would be the people that live there. From outside in, again, you would need you're pushing up. I mean, it's whatever. The blood that I see so far is there is no blood in that kitchen. So those rumors or whoever put blood stains dripping down that we've seen, I don't know where they're getting that shit from. The 182 photos, unless they're going to be taken from different angles. The pictures I have from the kitchen, let's see. Oh, here's a good view. I'm going to put up a different view. Again, stuff is just trickling in. Okay. You guys will appreciate this view. This stuff helps my brain. Thank you. Okay, let's take this one down. And let's bring up this one. Perfect. Exactly where I want to be. You guys should be like, thank you. Here it is. Take a look. How's this one? This one better. Okay, now I want you guys to visualize with a girl. Now remember how close I showed you that table was. Okay, so now do we think that what we're kind of seeing, the vantage point that this guy took the photo at, is it the side of the table that's actually heading that way? So it's the railing of the table where he's like coming from downstairs up. And so he's on a stair, 2 or 3 from the top. And so therefore that's sticking out. Okay. I'm just simply saying, here's the angle of how close that is to actually the railing of the half wall, you could say, when you're coming upstairs. And that to me, it just has to be, okay, that they're on stair 2 or 3 from the top, and that's what's catching it, and it's making it look like it's, you know, you get me? Now, that table is ready to be collapsed. Sure, yep, it's collapsible now. You can just see. But what I wanted you to see is where this table is. It's when somebody would be walking towards to like leave this house out the back, where this is at, this table has to be situated exactly where it's at to be able to even play this game. Or you'd like have to move it like diagonal if they play the game. And only these people inside the house know where they actually put the beer pong table to play the game. But now see how this side of the table is the only side that the cups are like that. That should tell everybody that there's no way that this lightweight table was bumped into and that none of those cups on the other side were moved. I've played this game so many times, I cannot even begin to tell you. But if you were to bump into that table, there's no way that triangle at the other end is not going to knock over. Like, you've got to be kidding me. Also, what it looks like, I mean, that's just really, really crazy odds. Also, where those cups are actually found, like the red ones, and that some are like over by where you'd be like sitting down to drink. When you lose the game, it looks like, this is what it looks like to me. The team on the right beat the shit on the team on the left, okay? And the team on the left had to drink all their drinks, and they just basically canned them. And we just beat your asses. We skunked you, okay? And you just had to drink all those. And they took the 2 or the 3 cups that they still had to drink, and they took them when they were sitting down on the couch and drinking them. That's what it looks like to me, is that my team would probably be playing, and we would smoke you guys, and you guys would have to drink all of that. You know, each time we make a cup, you drink. If we make 2 balls in a row, we get our balls back, and boom, boom, boom. We just smoked you, we skunked you, and then you're now, why those red ones are going to be more by the couch is going to be because you're drinking them. And the triangle being completely intact on the opposite end, if that table was bumped into, those cups down there would be moved. But hey, if there's actually beer in the cups, how full they are could keep them intact maybe, but there would just be a lot. But there's no room in this area. So yeah, these are really tight areas to get around. And up here in the bottom, you could see part of the knife that was put place here. I armed myself. I placed it there. You can see the good vibes is lit up. Also the Bev cart. So I would think that if someone's chasing somebody down the stairs and you're like, that table doesn't look like it's at all like, I would love another angle to see if it's like, it looks like it's exactly where they play the game. So I don't see. So when I think when Ann Taylor is talking about, okay, it looks like there was like a cleanup. I think Scott Roeder is going to help us understand that. Listen, if you're killing people and you're stabbing them and they're actually in beds, okay, you're going to have spatter hitting like the walls and stuff like that. But as far as like your shoes or you tracking it, I think he's going to be able to explain how and why there wouldn't be stuff like that. And also would go like what type of a struggle you're talking about, because the person that's actually wearing the shoes, if you're struggling with the person, and then how are they not tracking the blood on like their bottom of their feet if they're actually having a struggle that would be like in the middle of the floor or in the middle of a room and it's a hardwood floor and somebody has a ton of defensive wounds. Like, and I think it'd just be really interesting to hear him break that down. So I think it's interesting that the door to the where you clean up is open. Okay, let me just zoom into that. I think that's interesting to me. Where is that? This one. Okay. So if I zoom in, let's go. I think that being opened. I mean, that's them clearing the place. If they're clearing it, I highly doubt that was open, because that would impede. Like, the only way that you can open up that door, it's going to impede you going into the kitchen. So you'd have to talk to those first responders again with their body cams and say, okay, so this was closed. You opened it, right? Yeah. Look at the table. Look at all that beer wasted, man. And someone could say, oh, look at the cup here. Maybe they can prove that the cup actually flows straight from it and it's spilt over like that. And so they're saying that's why we think that somebody bumped into it, because the cup is spilled out like that. I find it hard to believe that the bottle then wouldn't fall over if it was empty like that. I don't know. A lot to consider. You also have to ask people if anybody truly touched anything. Oh yeah, when I actually came up, there was that on the floor, so I picked it up and I just sat it down on that. Yeah, I actually did touch that. So Rex wants us to all know that Bud Light Lime is not beer. Lana beating me in beer pong. Lana not beating me in beer pong. Well, I welcome everybody to beer pong. Everybody should play at least once. Thank you, CC. Appreciate you. Donna M. passing out 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Donna. Christina Young, keep going. Alana, thank you. We're going to try to keep going. But guys, these are not like the CSI crime scene photos. These are the cops from Moscow Police Department. It is supplemental 4. Schneider took 182 photos and he downloaded them to a CD and he uploaded into evidence. So thank you there, Poetic Justice. You are awesome, Lana. Well, thank you. You are too. Appreciate that. So these photos are not from the crime scene techs. These are the photos from Moscow Police Department. They were released to the media. The media in Idaho requested these. And out of the 182 photos, there are a ton that needed to be redacted because these aren't after the bodies were removed or anything like that. These are photos that were taken, the first responders being the 3 officers. So see what else. See what other ones I'm comfortable with sharing. But I think it's crazy that Idaho media is having families on there and talking about that they don't want this stuff out there, and to respect the families and respect the dignity of the victims. And here they were the ones that went and requested this stuff. I didn't request any of this. And then I was told, because I wanted to get some clarification onto these pictures, then out that Idaho, they're going to get their request in 3 days. And if you don't live in Idaho, you can get your requests in 28 days. So let's look at the kitchen photo from where you can kind of see the sink and the countertops. And so if I was a family, I would be upset. Yeah. Well, I would be upset that the people that requested it, there was the media in Idaho that did that. And they're the ones that got it. And then they just come out saying, oh, we're not going to show all of these photos. Well, God, I would hope not. Are you out of your mind? Well, no shit. But don't sit there and have the families on and you're like backing the families in their pursuit. Meanwhile, your guys are the ones that got these to be released because you're the requester. Okay. So please spare us. Spare us the BS. So whatever. And I would just hope that the people out there that do get the photos, they are going to be blurred. And yeah, talk about them on your own with your friends, do whatever. But I don't think that some of them need to be like plastered. I mean, I'm more concerned with like the way that spatter would be. I'm more concerned about the evidence and how it was interpreted. Okay. So the evidence and how it would be interpreted by a specialist and expert. And so guess what, guys? Come back here on Tuesday at 10 a.m. because Scott Roeder, who this is what he does, one of the best in the world, he's going to come and join us at 10 a.m. and talk to us all about, you know, this scene that really only has blood in the 2 bedrooms. Okay. And then there's obviously going to be little specks here and there and what he thinks about it. And, yeah, hear it from somebody this is what they do. So Scott Roeder, 10 a.m. next Tuesday. I'll make sure I go ahead and post a little thumbnail for you guys to hit the reminder. But I prefer to get my information from and my questions answered by somebody that, hey, these are kind of questions that people on my channel have, I have, and if you can kind of walk us through. And what do you think about the cops taking 182 photos and being all up in the shiz, you know, prior to? How problematic is that? You know, he doesn't do the lab work, but he does all crime scene reenactments. So he always told me that, hey, if you get the crime scene photos, we can do basically what he would be hired to do at a trial. And I said, hey, Scotty, too hottie, you're going to be in my documentary, my independent film, and I got what I needed that you need, and I want you for that portion of it. So, yeah. But yeah, he's an expert in the field, and he does crime scene reenactments. So I'm talking about the time, how long it would take. I'm talking about the entry points. I'm talking about the exit points. I'm talking about doing a storyboard that's how he does it, and then he puts together his digital stuff from photos and all that good stuff. That's what they do. So this case is definitely, you know, going to be talked about for a long time. There's a down step right there after the table. Yep. I know that there's a bunch of different people drinking. I will tell you that we're in the house because you got Bud Light Lime, you got Truly's, that's Twisted Tea down there. Then you got Coors Light upstairs or in someone's bedroom. There's Coors Light case in there. So It's a lot of preferences. I remember our college days, man. It was Miller Lite, Bud Light shots, and like we had bottles. We had, we would have our. Where's the vodka bottles? Where's the flavors? Flip a coin to see who gets to pick the flavor that weekend. Stoli Raz, soda, and Splash Cran. Let's go to town. But this just seems like a place that people hung out that night, and then just the unthinkable, the unimaginable. But all these lights were on, guys. All these lights were on. And so to be in there at night and to see what it really looked like, that's why those, cowboys were back up in there. How much light there truly was. I would love to see the up close and personal pictures of that staircase that goes up to the third floor, as well as the staircase. I can show that one. The staircase that goes from the first floor to the second floor. It's weird stuff on the I guess I can show this one too. I'm fine with that. Here, I'll show you guys a couple more. So the stairs going from the first level to the second level, there's a couple things that are interesting, which is, who the hell just leaves drinks on the on a stairwell, And the people that do that are people that are about to leave a place and they're like, oh shit, there's undercovers out there. Don't bring any of your drinks out. So, hey, get back in there, put that back down, set that back in the house. Okay. But where you would expect that to be would be, I don't know, more towards like the end of the bottom of the staircase. Cause I'm going to be lazy in college. Like I'm going to walk halfway up and just set it down on the, or if people are having like a heart to heart and they're in the stairwell and they're sitting on the stairs and they're like talking. And then therefore like the drink that's right there is because we were sitting right there and having like a heart to heart. So our drinks were right there. But how does it get that drinks would be just sitting off to the side in the stairwell? And so I just thought about those are the ways that I can see that happening. Again, do me a favor. You're going to have an opinion about this video. I will never tell you how to think. Thumbs it up or thumbs it down. But don't be don't be a blah. Make yourself known. Also, I always love to see where people are watching from. So if you are utilizing the live chat, let us know where you're from. Don't dox yourself, but by all means, throw up a state, where you repping, where you at. All right, here's a couple other ones, and then I'm going to call it. Let's go ahead and let's do this one. Southern Cal. What's the weather like there right now? Heard it's hot. Valley, it's like 100. Tennessee. South Africa, no way. No way. All right. Let's put up here. Yeah, this is like the kitchen. And there you go. So now if there was, go ahead and okay, we don't have the table, it's over there to the left, but yeah. This is one of the angles. So I don't think this is the window where the handprints were. I think it's going to be, if anything, it's going to be on the other wall. So there you go. Is that the DoorDash bag? The Jack in the Box DoorDash bag, I don't know. I don't know if that's it or if it's, you know, there's still one in Xana's room. I know in college we always ate in our rooms, especially late night. So, but I could tell you that nobody bumped into, I would think there was nothing in this room that somebody's bumping into this, where the sink is, where the countertops are. I think that you would have knocked over those bowls and plates that are stacked like that. I think that you'd have knocked over, I think there's a glass right there. So looks like people are just returning, you know, piling up like normal in college. That's what we did. Actually, we actually had a rule that we had to implement the rule. But yeah, we implemented it really, really quick. The first rule is you are not to open up that dishwasher. You open up the dishwasher, you take everything out. You are not opening it up and taking one item out to use it. Yeah, that's a no-no in our house. So, all right. I'll be back later. This was a afternoon live, so hopefully all you guys are doing well. If you did not see the live from last night, that video, I have so many problems with that video. I personally believe that video was used in the grand jury as an exhibit. I would love for the Idaho Statesman to clear up if he's the one that decided to speed up different portions of the video at different times. You know, he claims that he got an hour of footage, but actually it's not an hour of footage. It's a block of an hour time period. And so, but I can tell you that Dateline had the same thing. And if Dateline already had it in that version, okay, with the spotlight on the car and everything, that tells me that either Dateline created it that way or it was created that way prior to Dateline receiving it. But the Idaho Statesman, in my opinion, did not do any of the work to that video because he's putting it out after the fact. How could he have the same product after the fact and change anything from the hello guys? It just doesn't, that's not how it works in life. That product was already made. The spotlighting around the car is already done. Dateline put that out. So I personally believe that how Ann Taylor was able to go ham and saying, okay, this is clearly a leak because this is a grand jury exhibit. That type of stuff. That's how you. And so who put that together? Who made that compilation? So all those type of questions. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of chain of custody issues because as I pointed out last night, go check it out at the beginning of my video where I point out, hey, let's talk about Detective Mowry's steps. And let's talk about how he did not want to talk about the fact that he had 1112 passcode and username to get in and actually do and view everything from the app that he could have downloaded to his computer or his phone. He realized that, oh, snap, Snyder, who gave me the information, put it in his report that he divulged that I got that information. So now I have to rewrite a report a couple of days later and divulge this information that I was not going to divulge. So go check it out. I think it'll help. All right, guys, on the next one, catch you then. Thank you, moderators, members, subscribers. Peace.